Hello and welcome to another edition of Comics and Pop. And because our last top five Marvel villains list went, crazy, everyone went nuts for that one. And we've been getting a lot of requests, and by that I mean I think my nephew asked me, my son, to do our not top five this time, top 10 Marvel heroes. I'm sorry, and this time we're on the same page. We're going to do ones that are only been in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in the MCU. And so we're going to count them down for you so we can gut down so we can hear Carlos say Iron Man at number one. So we can, spoiler alert. But we're going to count them down. And before we start, how you guys doing today?
Not bad. Not bad. It's a good day. It's a good day for comic books.
How's the grandchild?
Good. My daughter, she's new to it. Tonight will be her second night with the baby actually home. So she calls me every night. She duos me and it's like, Dad, look at the baby. He's crying. And I was like, yeah, they do that.
They do that.
But it's cool.
What's up with you, Los?
Not much, man. Not much. Like I'm pretty I had a rough time with this top 10 list, man. I don't know about you guys.
It was bad.
This was really, really hard, man. I had about like 20 people. Obviously, well, my first choice is going to be a surprise, actually. So.
Oh, really? Oh, I can't wait.
It's actually going to be a surprise, but I had a really, really tough time with this. I didn't think it was going to be that hard. I mean, there were some people that I was actually like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm leaving this person off, but I got to put this person on, So it was tough.
I felt the same thing. I think I'm more shocked with the ones I left off than the ones I included. Well, the ones I included actually you might be shocked too. But let's get right to it then. Let's start with the heroes. Let's go with our number 10s. And this week we're going to start with Troy. Give me your number 10.
Number 10. Like you said, there's a lot of them in the MCU. So I feel like I'm missing a chunk of the good ones. But especially, since we have an idea of who's coming too. But my number 10 would be Dave Bautista as Drax. I think that guy's hilarious as Drax. He's pretty funny. So that would be he's not the iteration of Drax I would have picked from the comic books if I would have made the movie, but it was perfect. The cast
it's very different than the ones in the comics. I mean, it's another one. Yeah. It's very different.
Because one in the comic is he's a human.
Right.
What is it? Moon Dragon? Moon Dragon's Pop. The saxophone player guy. He gets killed by Thanos, and Kronos makes him, Drax the Destroyer. He's a human, but now he's like a person in a whole race of people.
He's also not that funny in the comics.
He's not.
All right, Carlos, give me your number 10.
All right, so number 10. So it's funny that you mentioned Drax, because Drax is one of the guys that I left off my list that I really, really struggled with leaving off my list because I thought he was so good. Because I'm a big wrestling fan, so I love Bautista, and when he cast him, I was like, I didn't really think of him much as an actor, and he did such a good job that and the bringing that character to life that. He's one of my honorable mentions, I guess, but he didn't make the top 10 list. He didn't make the MCU top 10 list. You guys ready? Number 10, drum roll. Number 10 for me was Sebastian Stan as the Winter Soldier. So the reason that I chose Sebastian Stan as the Winter Soldier by Carlos Idarraga is because I thought that Captain America Winter Soldier, that was one of my favorite MCU movies. I thought that movie was so good. To me, that movie kind of started, it was kind of like maybe one of the earlier of the superhero movies that actually included a lot of the members, a lot of other superheroes other than just the main hero that was in the movie. And Sebastian Stan, he did such a good job as the Winter Soldier. I mean, it was so good that they actually had their own TV series, right? Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and that was amazing as well. And seeing him the way he acted, and the way, especially in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show, how good he was in that. The going back and forth, with his, kind of like trying to atone for his past sins as the Winter Soldier. He's my number 10.
Right. And what's funny is he's one of mine on my honorable mention. And he was like, I kept thinking, should I include him or should I not include him? Because I do love him and I do love the TV show too. And he just didn't make it. This was tough, like you guys said. And I don't know if you guys have seen on Twitter that someone tagged Dave Bautista, and they put a picture of The Rock and John Cena, and said these two should make a movie together. And then they wrote add and throw in Dave Bautista too, and they tagged him. And Dave Bautista put that picture, said, "I'll pass." So obviously, there's no love loss between those guys and Bautista. So, wow.
He said that he doesn't think The Rock's an actor. He says The Rock's an action star.
That's what he said. So, yes.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
Well, listen, Drax is not really much, but he's not really much of an
right.
actor.
Exactly.
I mean, if we're gonna be real here, I like him. Don't get me wrong. But the guy's not winning any Oscars anytime soon. So.
This is going to be awkward that you said that when we have him scheduled to come up on our show next week.
I'll tell him to his face. I'll tell him in the Zoom meeting. I'm pretty tough in Zoom meetings. So.
Well, here we go. So my number 10, and again, like you guys said, this was tough. This was really tough. There are a lot of people that I left out, and I'm looking at my list and like, how can I leave them out? But number 10 for me is, and one of the funny things is that there are a lot of people that I'm putting on this list that I don't put them down in my comics top 10 because they're not the same. It's just that the actors like really made them into something that different. And to me, it's Dr.
So basically, before you say that, Jonathan, I'm sorry. You're saying so that making an MCU list and a list of
two totally different things.
Different, right?
Totally different.
I just want to make sure. Okay.
So, but my number 10 is Doctor Strange. I would never put him down as my top 10 in comics. I did like the comic, but it's more serious tone. It's like, there are all these words that you had, all the magic words that you had to read. But I think, Benedict Cumberbatch does such a great job at that. And very funny and, very personable. And, it's really Doctor Strange that's not in the comics. But I did enjoy that movie. And I'm looking forward to the sequel a lot. So let's go on. And number 9, Troy.
Number 9, one of the 3 Chris's. I like Thor. Thor is my number 9. He's okay in the comics. I liked him in the comics. But the first movie they kind of tried to make him serious. And then maybe somebody heard him tell a joke behind a porta potty or something. And they're like, hey, this guy's funny. So they decided to change him a little bit. And they gave him a more comical take on the character. And I liked that. The first Thor, it was okay. But because of the action and everything, because, the villains. But after they let him get into his comical side, that was he's a friend from work. That was hilarious. He's a funny guy. I like that.
I think it's only because of, I think, what's in it, Taika Waititi, that he's the one that did that. That's the only reason that they gave him, because he directed the third one that he was in. So, right. So, the first, I agree with you. The first 2, I didn't care for Thor. I didn't even care if I saw the movies again because they were just so
Yeah, he's playing Hulk Hogan too.
Right.
He's going to be bigger in this final Thor movie because he's bulking up for the Hulk Hogan movie.
Hogan, yeah.
Don't you have a Hulk Hogan story, Troy? No, we're waiting for our wrestling. We got to wait.
Yeah.
Wait for our wrestling episode to bring him all out.
3 wrestlers. But yeah, Hogan was memorable.
I do love that story. Carlos, number 9.
All right, number 9 for me, Doctor Strange is one that I left off my list. That was perfectly cast. Honorable mention, love him as well. Thor's on the list. I'll get to him. But for me, number 9 was kind of hard for me. I can't believe that I have him this low. But I have Hulk at number 9. And to me, I mean, Hulk was awesome. I mean, Mark Ruffalo, his version of the Hulk was really good. I think his version of Banner was really cool. and especially in the Thor movie and the Ragnarok movie, he did such a good job. That Hulk was so amazing. He was funny. He was, I mean, everything about the Hulk in that movie. And in the Avengers movie, the first Avengers movie, he was great. Second Avengers movie, he was great. But then in the third one, when he in the second Avengers movie was when he kind of like didn't want to be the Hulk anymore, I guess, because he was kind of scared. And then the third, he was the smart Hulk. So I like the fact that they used, all the different comic book versions kind of the Hulk in this. So that was really cool. So Hulk was my number 9, and I can't believe that I don't have him higher. But there was so many people to choose from, and these are some of my favorite superheroes. So I have Hulk as number 9.
See, and that's funny. He's not even on my list. And that's nuts to me because they've also been like, so many different, iterations of the Hulk. They've had so many different actors playing the Hulk. So
for the MCU, it was basically Norton, and because the first one didn't really count. So
Eric Bana,
that one wasn't part of this storyline. So the Norton one was. But I think to me personally, like the version that they did of the Hulk in the Norton movie, visually was awesome, and Norton did kind of like a good job, but Ruffalo did such a good job that I prefer Ruffalo over.
Oh, I agree. I do agree. I mean, he's the one that made the character to me. But it's just there's been so many that I didn't include him in. But he could have. That's one of the. I have some shocking ones, some shocking omissions here. Actually, I'm looking at it again. I have like some really big ones that I did not put on the list because we're going by our favorites. We're not going by anything else. We're not going who's more powerful. Just our favorites. So no rhyme or reason. So there are no wrong answers. Number 9, and here's. When I put number 9, we're going to start saying a theme that's going to permeate through the rest of my list. Number 9 for me is Gamora. Everything. I love that movie, and I love every character in that movie, as we will see this. But I think she's funny. I think she does a great job in that movie. And again, this is another character who in the comics is not as funny as in the movie. So, I really think she does a great job. And like I said, I love everything about I'm saying Suicide Squad, about Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. Let's go on. Number 8.
Number 8, I have Spectrum. I'm assuming her name is going to be Spectrum. It might be Photon, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be Miss Marvel, but Monica Rambeau. I like her character. I like the fact that we got to see her progress into becoming the super heroine that she'll be. Got a little flash of her powers. I know she's coming up in some more stuff. And I was wondering, I heard that she was going to be in the movie, and I'm thinking, okay, well, she's got to meet Spider-Man because that's her origin. But they change everything in the movies, and it's not always great for me, but sometimes it's refreshing because they did this. They didn't actually need Spider-Man. They still basically gave you, instead of smacking that grid and absorbing the power, she got pushed through Wanda's field, or she walked through it and she absorbed the power. So I like it. I like that. And I think that she is going to maybe push Captain Marvel out of the way as the strongest person in the MCU, the most powerful. We'll see.
I think they're building her up for that, but that's what it does look like that to me. I agree with you on that. And it's weird. I don't have, and I love that show. I loved WandaVision, and I don't have any of the characters in my list either. And I love that. I did love that series, and it was toward there too. All right, Carlos, number 8.
All right, so number 8. So it's funny that you mentioned, Jonathan. You were talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I love every single character on there, and none of them made my top 10 list. And I love Star-Lord, Drax, Gamora, Rocket Raccoon, Groot, even Groot. I mean, everything about that movie was so good. But to me, they're like I look at all of them kind of like almost as equal. And like picking one out to make to this list for me was really hard to do. So that's why I kind of like omitted them. But I mean, like I said, this was so hard for me, man. But number 8 for me was the Black Panther, played by Chadwick Boseman. He was so good as the Black Panther. I mean, when he first appeared in in Winter Soldier, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. To me that was such a good movie too, because that's when we first saw him as well. I mean, he was perfectly cast. Everything about it, everything about Wakanda was so well done. I really, 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 really like the Black Panther. I love him so much, and he's number 8. That's how. I mean, that's how tough it was to make this list. You know, usually if you
gave that 3 reallys. Wow.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. 3 reallys on the really scale. But number 8 for me was Mr. Chadwick Boseman as the Black Panther.
So doing this gives us the opportunity to maybe get some material for another show, because, like, you know, you got thinking about it when you said, you know, you liked Wakanda, it immediately made me think about, I did like Wakanda. They did that pretty well. You got Wakanda, you got the microverse, which they're calling the quantum universe. You got the Asgard. You got all of these different places. We could do an episode on the different places. We could do an episode on the best hope, because Bill Bixby was
we're gonna go back old school. There we go. I'm talking. That's good.
So normally, for future reference, Troy, this is the kind of conversation we have off camera, because there's people watching it and they put out this show before us, and they're gonna beat us to it, because, you know, we have 209 followers, subscribers. One of these subscribers could actually go out and put out that show.
We should all scream copyright at the same time. So
because nobody's made a show about that top 10 MCU characters also.
Right. Exactly. Oh, see, my list is all. I think everyone on my list is basically who makes me laugh, instead of who I thought was funny, instead of who played the character. Because I have some great ones, like I told you, that are not on the list.
So is Jonathan's top 10 Guardians of the Galaxy members?
Basically, yes. Well, here we go. Number 8. Number 8. I have Rocket Raccoon on there. Even though, like I said, it's a CGI character, and I still think Bradley Cooper did such a great job with that, and I just love the character. It's like, you know, he's funny, and we got to see his sentimental side a little bit in some of the movies there too, and, you know, even though it's like you're looking at a CGI character, you look at him like he's like another character in there. He's just like a real character to everyone when you see him on screen, and you know, I do credit Bradley Cooper for that. Just great part for me, and again, makes me laugh, and that's all that counted for me. So my number 8 is Rocket, and yes, we're going to be going down a Guardians of the Galaxy rabbit hole here throughout this list. Okay, number 7.
Number 7 for me, when they announced this actor, I was like, oh, that sucks, because I was really hoping that Avengers and the Marvel Universe would be great, but they picked that guy, and they just ruined everything. Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. I thought that was going to be a disaster, but he's perfect. I can't see him in anything now and expect him to not hold his hand out and actually stick it to his body. Every time I see him, he's Iron Man now. He is Iron Man. You know, he's like the quintessential guy. I think he and Charlie Cox are the best cast characters, in my opinion. Maybe Captain America, but Charlie Cox and Iron Man, I think those Daredevil and Iron Man, I think those two are the best cast guys. And I dig Iron Man. They're doing his story well. They're bringing up a lot of his villains. We're not going to mention the original version of Mandarin, because that was crazy. But I liked it when it came out, and they were like, Ironmonger, his first villain. I was like, come on, man, he's got some. I want to see the Anti-Men. I wanted to see those, you know, the frog guy and the bird guy. I wanted to see them for some reason. They didn't do it. So, you know, I sent them a letter. I don't think
we are. And speaking of podcasts that we need to do which heroes we hope that they put in future movies somehow. But you just wounded Carlos by putting Iron Man down so low.
You guys are going to be surprised when I'm number 1. I'll just leave it at that.
Number 7, Carlos.
All right, so number 7 for me is a hero that's been in the movies. Is a Marvel hero, and to me, he's part of the MCU, but technically he's really not. but it was I couldn't make a list about Marvel superheroes and not have them on there because going with the comedic aspect, with all that, the whole aspect of it. So to me, number 7 was Deadpool. Deadpool to me was when they were first gonna make it. I was like, are they gonna do this right? I was like, this is. I kind of had my doubts about it, but there's like another perfectly cast person, I guess. Ryan Reynolds was so good at Deadpool. It was the comedy, the comedic aspect of that movie is so awesome. I mean, both of them, 1 and 2. So I kind of like, even though he's technically not part of the universe, I kind of include him in this universe because he kind of breaks the fourth wall in movie making. The way he speaks to to the audience, and he kind of uses a lot of different jokes that are kind of like part of the whole everything that's going on. So Deadpool was my number 7, and I actually crossed somebody off at number 7 to put him on. The person that I originally had at number 7 hasn't appeared yet, but we've seen the trailers, and that's Shang-Chi because Shang-Chi is my one of my all-time favorite heroes. Anything having to do with kung fu. Growing up as a kid watching Saturday kung fu movies, that was my original number 7. But I was like, after I made the list, I'm like, how can I not have Deadpool on this list? So my number 7 was Deadpool.
Okay, I'm going to call foul right here. I'm calling foul right here before we go on, and I'm going to have to go to Troy for this because we said if we said we're going to put the RMC because someone, Troy, correct me if I'm wrong. Someone said that we should not be putting in the Fox movies. We should not be putting in all the other Sony things. And I'm trying to recall which one of us said that.
It wasn't me.
Yes. So, but I'm pretty sure that it wasn't me and it wasn't Troy, but I'm trying to remember who it was. So otherwise I'd be putting Deadpool on this list too. So I am calling foul. I protest this list right off now. I want it officially protested.
So officially, it's Shang-Chi. For those people, this is going to be like a black market podcast. Deadpool is on that one.
I'm not even allowing Shang-Chi because he's not appeared yet. We've seen a trailer.
The trailers.
A trailer's not a movie. We don't count this as a trailer.
No, we do.
So this list is under protest.
Did you guys see the latest trailer? How cool was that?
I did. It looked good, but I'm not even going in. I'm too upset right now. I'm too upset. I don't even know if I can finish this list. So my number 7, continuing on a theme, and like Troy said, my number 7 is Drax. And again, I was also when they cast Batista, I was I did not think he was going to be good whatsoever, and he was so good in this role, and just I read that he had taken so many acting lessons right before this role, but I was worried, and it paid off. I think he was really funny. I can't even imagine the movie without him. And he's been tweeting a lot lately that his days of Drax are coming to an end, and I hope that's not true now. But I hope it's just like some negotiating ploy. But I thought he did a real good job. So that's my number 7. So number 6.
Number 6 is Charlie Cox, Daredevil. He was one of my favorite heroes growing up, and in my world, he was the other Batman. Everybody's a ripoff of Batman. Moon Knight. What's the guy from the Hyperion's team, the Squadron Supreme.
I think I loved and I didn't put them in, and they were some of the ones that I was debating. All those Netflix shows I thought were, for the most part, not all of them, but for the most part, they were really good. I mean, Charlie Cox, the Power Man one, the Punisher one, those shows were so good. And I love Jessica Jones too. I know Carlos didn't like it so much, but I love Jessica Jones too. The only one that was like Iron Fist was like, but I love all of them. Yeah, Charlie Cox was great, and especially after that Ben Affleck one. Yeah. So Carlos, number 6. Go ahead. Give me Wolverine now. That's another one.
No. Number 6 for me was Christian Bale's Batman. All right, so no, back to the MC now. This is number 6 for me was a tough one. I thought I would have him higher, but his role was kind of a little bit conflicted because he was still kind of owned by Sony. So it was Spider-Man. Number 6 for me, Spider-Man. Tom Holland's Spider-Man. When he first appeared in the Civil War movie, that was like one of the big brouhahas about that movie was, how they were going to do Spider-Man to see if they were going to do a good job with him. And I think Tom Holland has been great. I mean, I like the young Spider-Man, playing him as a kid in high school. And he was one of the really good castings, even though like the older, from the original movies, the first few Spider-Mans that they made were good as well. But I think Tom Holland is by far, to me, my favorite one so far. And the actual 2 movies that they've made so far, and we have another one coming out as well, have been really, really good as well. So Spider-Man at number 6, and I love the fact that he has that connection with Iron Man, who's my guy. So that kind of like connection that they put there, kind of maybe endeared, a little bit more endeared towards him. And the fact that Tony Stark kind of like took him in, kind of like as an adopted kid almost, and he made him the armor, the suit, the iron suit for him to wear and stuff. So Spider-Man at number 6 for me.
And Wolverine is another one that, by the way, I would definitely put on the list if we incorporated it. But yeah, because I thought Hugh Jackman did a great job there. But my number 6,
he's not part of the MCU, so
right? Exactly, right. You wouldn't do that, of course.
I wouldn't do that.
my number 6 is Falcon. Again, a character. I thought Anthony Mackie does such a great job. It's another character that I don't care for. So not that I don't care for it. In the comic books, he's not the same. It's much funnier in the movies and his TV show than he is in the comics. I thought, I loved watching the series every week, and it's tough for me to put down Falcon without putting down Winter Soldier. But I really thought Mackie did such a great job with it. Just even from the first time, we really see him, saying, on your left when, Chris Evans goes by him and stuff. So it's really such a good part. Yeah. So that has been our top 10 Marvel Cinematic Heroes, 10 through 6. Please tune in next time, so we'll give you our top 5. Again, thanks for watching Comics and Pop. Thanks for listening. And remember, hit that subscribe button.